Happy Boxing Day to everyone. How y'all doing? Hope you had great holidays. Hope you all stayed safe, stayed home, followed all your government rules and whatnot regarding the vid. But welcome. We are building a Switchwire today. Moses already. $25 super chat. Oh, shoot, missed your message. Hope you had a great Christmas. I did. Much smaller than previous years. For those that don't know, I live in Ontario, Canada. We are in lockdown mode up here. So it was very small, very quiet. It was actually really nice. But now I have a week and a half where I have nothing to do because I can't really do much else. So, those that weren't here last week we put together the frame at the end of the stream. Didn't think I'd get that far and tearing apart the old Switchwire, but I did. So we built the frame. You didn't really miss much. If you need to know how to build a frame, you can go back a week, catch the end of the stream there. But in the meantime, we have a box of parts. We got a box of motors somewhere. Box of motors. We got a frame. Let's build a Switchwire. Yes, everything is super organized. So let me catch up on chat. How's everyone doing? Gain is too high. There might be a little bit more echo than normal. There's not much I can really do. I was hoping to do some work on the room today, actually, and finish the bench, like the wall of printers. Unfortunately, everything is in full-on lockdown, curbside pickup only, order online, even like Home Depot. So I can't really go and order stuff. Oh, the music. Yes, the music. There. There we go. Some lo-fi Christmas beats. So for those that don't know, this is the music I use for streaming. Harris Heller. I don't get copyright DMCA'd when I play this during streams, so. Got some lo-fi Christmas beats. Because it's Christmas until New Year's. So you can keep your Christmas stuff up and say Merry Christmas until New Year's. After New Year's, January 2nd, and that's all done. Where's my legacy? I don't have a legacy. There's only 3 in existence right now, and I do not have one. Quick question. Which stepper motor brand do you suggest? LDO, Steppers Online. I've been using Steppers Online for the longest time. All my printers have been using Stepper Online. This is the first printer that I'm building with LDO motors. LDOs are good. So, can we have a chat overlay? Yes, there is a chat overlay. It's right here. It's right there. I don't know. I still need to set up Streamlabs properly. I still have the demo version. But yes, there is a chat overlay. But yeah, OMC basically are cheap, good, they're fine. LDOs are better, but they are a bit more. But functionally, they work fine. Okay. So, for those that have never built a Switchwire, these are all the printed parts you need in a pile. So I would actually recommend, taking the time and organizing stuff before doing your build. We don't do that around here. But it's not a complicated build. Tonight, I'm hoping to have all the mechanical portion of the assembly done, minus the afterburner tool head. We might even get that done. We'll see how long it goes. I might do a 4-hour stream tonight. We'll see how everyone's doing. I've never had this close to 100 people this quick into the stream, so welcome everyone. I know Joel did his little Christmas giveaway there. The feedback from people on the stream seemed pretty enthused about Switchwire, so I'm assuming some of you are here through that. But, oh. Actually, is that working? Yeah, that is working. The overlay is working. So anyways, Switchwire. So as of right now, the Switchwire and the Legacy, although the Legacy one is coming, are the only Vorons without a manual. But you do have the CAD, okay? So this is what we will be building. So I'm hoping to have pretty much everything built except for the afterburner tonight. Because literally the afterburner is the most complex part of this build. Everything else is like 2 or 3 printed parts and some bearing stacks. It's really a simple build. So the first thing we're going to do is mount our rails. It's what I usually start with. So I still have our rails here, and for those that don't know, this is a rebuild. This printer was fully built, and I took it apart so we could rebuild it on stream. Plus, NerdQ and LVO hooked me up with some fancy rails and motors. So I have a reason to rebuild it. So for those that don't know, it's all MGM 12. You need 4 MGM 12 rails. They're all the same length. And for mounting them, there are these little printed guides. Let's see, which angle is this camera at? Good enough. So we have printed guides here. So you have guides for mounting it to 2020 and 3030. So for the verticals, and we're going to start with the gantry first, you're going to need these ones. And it's a relatively simple install. They pretty much just drop in, center them with the doodads, and then you tighten it down. And that's how you install the rails. Now, there are these little spacers on top and the bottom here. This keeps your carriage from flying out. It also keeps everything aligned. So you have 3 of these. And then you also have your keyback on the one side here. And the keyback is the magic. That keeps everything from flying off. So I know I try to keep track of chat during these streams, but I got a feeling tonight's going to be chat will be a lot quicker than it normally is, or what I'm used to. So I'll do what I can. We shall see how well that goes. Will I be adding a different hot end, or will I keep it the Firefly? No, I'll be using a Dragonfly. But yes, I will be keeping the Dragonfly in it. I liked it enough during testing that I figured I'd keep it in. Just to see how it handles a little bit longer, because one thing I didn't get to doing with it was testing dual extrusion. So I'm going to keep this with the setup with the dual extrusion, and I'm hoping that let me fix the color on this camera. That'll perform that it will perform pretty good with dual extrusion. Properties, configure video. It's always the white balance that goes off with this camera. There we go. Okay. So mounting your rails is really simple on this build. Put your stopper in. I only have T-nuts every other hole on the extrusions. And that's all you really need. You don't need to go. You can go every hole, but every other hole is perfectly good enough for what we're doing here. Will that mean I'll be upgrading to dual M4s? Yes. I do have to print and assemble 2 M4 extruders. I won't be reusing the jetpacks. So. But what was I going to say? I was going to say something. I can't remember. So that one is there, so I need another one of the stoppers. I got famous overnight. You were here before. It was cool. I was always cool. Just not everyone knew about it yet. But yeah, I do have to print the dual M4s, but this is all I have left of the orange. I was cutting it real close with the orange. That's why my rear skirts are in the accent color, because I want to save some orange, because I'm probably going to do the M4 with the same color scheme, but I'll probably have the blue as the primary and the orange as the accent, because I'm running kind of low on this, and if I need to replace any parts down the line, I'd have to buy another spool. So, yeah. Okay, so that's one rail on. And then you pretty much do the same on the other side, but you only have one stopper at the top. Find it. Up. And at the bottom you have the keyback base holding it up. Cowboy1, $25. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. You know, for the cool kids. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the stream tonight. Doing this because of you guys. I had no plans to rebuild it. So you can all thank NearQ, if he's in chat, for kind of pushing me to do this by providing me with shining objects to build it with. So for those that don't know, this is an LDO frame, LDO motors. If you're in Canada, you can get them from Printed Solid. If you're in Canada, you get them from Sparta 3D. If you're in the US, you can get them from Printed Solid. And in Europe, they have a few vendors. I can't remember off the top of my head who the vendors are in Europe. But they do have options in Europe to get it there too. You know, I was hoping today to head up to Home Depot so I can get some stuff so I can build like a temporary overhead cam rig and get the bench going, because right now I'm hoping to extend the bench all across the back there for printers. But Ontario is in full lockdown mode, so unless it's something essential like food or medicine, you're not allowed to be open for customers. So you have to buy it online and go pick it up. Just can't even go in a Home Depot. Even the crappy tires are closed. Okay, there we go. So, we have this rail on, and now on this rail, at the bottom, we have the keyback. Now, the keyback is the magic sauce of what makes the Switchwire work, okay? So, for it to work, where is it? You have this wonderful little housing it goes in, and that acts like your end stop as well for the rail, so it doesn't come flying off the, your carriage doesn't come flying off the rail. Tim Hortons is essential business, though. Here's the thing, you talk to any true Canadian who lives up here, Tim Hortons is dead to us. The only reason it's still around is because it's everywhere. Tim Hortons isn't even Canadian anymore. It's owned by a Brazilian company. Okay, so where is my housing? I know I printed it. One half. And there's the other half. Oh yeah. And the delivery gods graced me. And now I've got plenty of those, because you are going to need a lot of heat set inserts for this build. Let's plug my solder. because we are going to be using the soldering iron a lot today. So I should have prepped and heated that up beforehand, but I did. Thrasher, hey, how you doing? The nice thing about Timmy's is everywhere is no two stores make the same consistent coffee. That's true. And even the same store, if you go 20 minutes later, it could be great or it could be garbage. Like, I try to avoid Timmy's now. Honestly, McDonald's coffee is where it's at for your generic drive-through coffee. So yeah, so tonight we're going to be putting in a lot of heat set inserts too. And for those that don't know, get yourself like a cheap soldering iron. Don't use your good one. And you just want it like hot enough to melt the insert into the plastic. You don't want to burn the plastic. I set mine for 220. And I'm going to keep this on all night and hopefully not burn anything. Contributing to the fun for another spool of orange. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I think it's still in stock. I just have to buy it. But I think I'll be okay. I need to stock up on filament. I'm running low. So, this is a Keyback. This is the magic sauce that makes the Switchwire work. And literally all it is a retractable key retainer. Okay, you would clip it on your belt. Now, I have this little plastic dongle on it because back in the early design of this, you had to cut off what came on here. Now, there's a printed part that allows you to use this unmodified. You just have to take the little part that clips onto your belt off. However, I built my Switchwire before this became standard, so I don't have that anymore. So I have to use this little printed part. But basically, you would use the same thing. You would just hook it into this plastic part and attach the plastic part to the thing. But yeah, this is the Keyback. And then it pretty much only goes in one way due to the way it's designed. And that's it. And you screw it together. What brand of linear rails do you have there? These are CNA. I use CNA rails off AliExpress because that's just what I use. I haven't had any issues with them. I'm very, if I don't have issues with it, I won't go hunting for a replacement. That's placing Allen keys all night, aren't I? Now, if your Keyback makes noise, this one ain't too bad. Like, it's still gonna make noise, obviously. But if it makes like a really like loud like noise, like a, it's hard to explain. I wish it would still make that, but I fixed it. But if there's a noise that I would make, you can oil it. You can pop it open. You gotta be very careful though, because it has a the spring's like helical. It's like a wound up spring. So you have to be very careful when you open it. You can put a few drops of oil because it's like a plastic bearing that the rope runs on, and it rubs against plastic, and it's like a really grating noise. It doesn't affect functionality in any way, but you can oil it if it makes that noise to kind of give your ears a chance. And then that just mounts right there. What is the... Oh, yeah, so what the keyback's used for. So, for those that don't know, Switchwire is corexz, okay? So, if you were to take a corexy printer, okay? Hey, look, I have one right here, okay? So you take a corexy printer, and you flip it vertical, okay? That is the gantry on Switchwire, okay? So instead of the head moving around in the X and Y, like this, it's now flipped vertical, and it's your Z and Y, okay? So corexz. Yeah, X and Z, yeah. So the problem is, this is a V0, it's light as all hell. But on a bigger printer, like a V2, for example, what happens is under gravity, the gantry just falls. Okay, it won't stay in position. Every time you turn off the power, it'll drop. And the motors are constantly fighting to keep the gantry up. So what the keyback does is it acts basically like a counterweight. This one is a 13 ounce, and I think you can get a 20 ounce one too. And what it does is it basically comes up, loops around some bearings, and then comes down and hangs off the gantry. And it just takes the weight of the gantry off of the motors, or a good portion of the weight. So that way, when you turn the power off, the gantry just stays where it's at. You mean ZZ? ZZZ. I flip between the two because I know it annoys people. Okay, so we got the keyback installed. Hide panels. So we got our rails on. So let's finish putting on the other gubbins on the frame. So let's do the idlers. So for the idlers, they're very simple. The XY or XZ idlers are really simple here. Or actually, these are just not the XZ. These are just Z idlers. These are the XZ idlers down here. Down here. But anyways, 2 printed parts, 2 bearing stacks. Easy peasy. So, got one here. And where's my other one? Got them all. I had them all. I put them both in the box. Oh, there's one part. I'm going to have to do this like Blue's Clues and point a camera at the pile of parts and just have you guys find them for me. Where is it? Do you see the idler? Dang it. I'm being blind, aren't I? Where is the idler? Hopefully I didn't drop it. Another one of these. I had them both together because I was checking something. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, nope. Checking the grill. Nope. Ooh, this is embarrassing. Do you see the idler? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, these are the printed parts that you need for the upper idlers. And you're basically building a bearing stack on each. Where's that screw? Yeah. So for the screw, I should be calling out screw sizes, but it's a 40 mil M5. And for bearing stacks with Vorons, the rule of thumb is every bearing stack is a washer 2 bearings, and a washer. Okay, and these are the F695s, flanged, and then a washer. Okay, and now another bearing stack. So you would put another washer, 2 bearings, and then another washer. And that is basically the bearing stack. And that is it. And then you simply put it on your printer. Now, you'll see which side it goes on because the belts have to come up from the bottom. So if you look, see how there's a little notch there? No notch there. So with no notch, that's got to go up. So this one would go right here. And then you just face it right at the edge, so it just make it flush with the edge of the extrusion. Let me catch up on chat here. Oh, Blade Scraper, $20. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Just wanted to say thanks for all your videos. Got my 2.4 going along with everyone else's in the Discord. Being cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate it very much. That's why I do the videos. I know they help people a lot with their builds, so I'll keep doing them. Okay, so you tighten everything up. Make sure your bearings still move. Nothing's bound up. That's one. So same thing. When is the manual expected? When it gets done. I'm not involved in the manuals because my artistic skills end at MS Paint and stick figures. But basically, there's just a lot of stuff going on right now. So, luckily, you'll now have a video to reference along with the CAD. Oh, and if I goof up on camera angles, just let me know. I know I forget to change cameras often. Okay, so that is your upper idlers done. That's it. As a way to install a filament runout sensor, does Voron need one? You can put a filament runout sensor on any Voron. You just need to have it somewhere in the filament path. Unlike the direct feed ones, like the V2s here, I got direct feed afterburners. You can put it on the back. You can put it anywhere between the spool and the hot end, basically. So. Okay, so we've got the upper idlers on. Let's do the motor mounts, I guess. So they are down here. And again, it is 1, 2, 3 printed parts for each one, and then the motor. So that also acts, this is your tensioner here. So what you would do is you would loosen these 2 screws, tighten or loosen this screw, and that moves the whole assembly up and down, and that tensions your belt. So that's how you do your belt tensioning as well for the corexz head. So now when you print these, there is a left hand and a right hand side. So you need to make sure you have the right ones. Ooh, Dom G just now pushed first plastic out of my new 2.4 build. Your videos and live stream tips really helped. Much appreciated. Thank you, man. I'm glad they helped, and congrats on getting that printer printing. So here for now. Lose them. And let's get our LDO motors out. Ooh, shiny. So if you get the LDO motor pack, it comes with 4 motors. So you have 3 bigger ones. These are for your XYZ. They're all the same. You can put them wherever. And then you get a smaller pancake one. That is for your afterburner if you're going with direct feed. So we'll only need the 2 for now. Running pressure advanced tuning out of my 2.4 right now. Still no enclosure. Waiting on phone tape. There's always a garbage bag if you really need it. Now, for routing the wires, if you look, I think originally on mine, actually I still have them assembled. Yeah, I ran my wires inboard. So I ran the wires, yeah, because there's really, you don't want the wires coming down. So if this is your fitting here, you don't want it coming down because you'll hit your extrusion. You don't want it running out because if you ever panel it, it's sticking outside. So you have to run them facing in towards the bed. That's the easiest way to do it. So we'll do here. This one is and then we're also going to need some gears, so we're going to need some 22. See here. Should have gotten orange panels. I'm not going to enclose this printer actually. I don't enclose my my switch wires. Well, my switch wire. I have 2 V2s fully enclosed for ABS when I need to print ABS. So these are pretty much test bed for like PLA and stuff. So I'm kind of cheating here because I already have a pre-assembled one that I took off before I rebuilt. So I'm going to use this to kind of figure out my spacing for my 20-tooth gear. You guys, of course, will have to go through and space it out depending on where the belts are and whatnot, just to make sure your alignment's correct. And you do have access, so you can adjust these if you need to. So. Yeah, right about there. If you want to get really stingy, you can check the CAD for that. But I'm just kind of eyeballing it based off of what I have available. At least to get it started. And I probably will be adjusting these, so I'm not gonna put Loctite on them right now, because I probably will be moving these once I start playing around with belt alignment. And then we are going to have to put the hooks in too at this point. Now for the hooks, you are going to have to put some heat sets in there. Because the heat sets, you don't rip the thread out basically, and you use these for adjusting your tension. Yep. And then for the screws, they are, what is it? You're going to need M3 40s. And these are for the tension portion. So what it does is the tensioner kind of sits in there and it gets sandwiched between. So what you can do is you can kind of get it sized right now, so that way it's ready to go once it's installed, basically. And then you also need, I think they're 30 mils. Let's see here. These are, and this is for attaching the motor. Yeah, M330s for attaching the motor. So if that goes like that, that goes like that, like that. And actually, I will show you, because I know I kind of know what most of the screw sizes are, because I'm literally pulling these out of a pile of screws that I took off. But for those that don't know, if you need to figure out screw sizes, and you have the CAD, oops, wrong button. This is another problem when you use like 3 different CAD programs. You forget the shortcuts. If you click on an object and hit V, it hides it. So if you need to figure out the screw sizes, use inspect. And then just click on the end of the screw and the bottom of the head. And there you go. It's 29.785, but I didn't click the end, so it's a 30 millimeter screw. That's how you figure out screw lengths if you only have the CAD. Just makes it a little bit easier. Or you could just do what most people do and just put the screw in and see which one sticks out enough. Because that works too. I'm pretty sure these are the longer ones, yeah. So for attaching these to the actual frame though, you're going to need M5 15 or 16 actually. So when you put it in, the little hook here, make sure you have that hooked into the extrusion before you screw these in. I remember breaking one of them during beta because I didn't have it quite lined up and I screwed it down and it just snapped it. So let's make sure you have it pre-hooked in the extrusion. And these you do not have to have tight right now, simply for the fact you're going to be tensioning these. So what I do is I just kind of get them in position, snug them up by hand, and then that's it for now. You'll be coming back to these later after you get everything assembled, belts on, because you're going to be adjusting the tensioning and whatnot. So normally what I would actually do at this point is have them moved up a bit, because right now it's just sitting on the extrusion. So actually move it up pretty much all the way and then tighten them down. So that way you have something to pull on when you go to actually, you know, tighten your belts. Okay, let's do the other one. The screws are named correctly. Okay, then yeah, you can just click on the screw name in the so yeah, if you click that screw there, so what, Gantry, X motor. Yeah, okay, M340. So yeah, everything's called out there. I'm used to the CAD program I use at work where you have to measure stuff. That gets really annoying, by the way. So like, you have your slicer that uses certain keys to move around, zoom in, zoom out, move objects. And then you have this Fusion 360, and it has its own shortcuts and keys and everything. And then I also have the CAD software I use at work. That has all its own stuff as well. It gets confusing sometimes. I'm actually missing a screw. Where's my 40 mil? There's my 40 mil. This one. Near the top. Okay. It says yeah, you can't always trust the naming callouts for the screws, unfortunately. Just use a bigger hammer. Let's see here. The trick is you just order M350s, you just order like 400 of them, and a hacksaw, and you just cut them to size as you go. That way you don't run out of screws, and you have every size you would need. Sounds terrible. I didn't say it was a smart idea. I just said it was an idea so you never have to worry about running out of screws and having the right size. Okay. So there we go. Got the motors mounted now. So that is pretty much it for the gantry minus the X-beam. So let's put the bed on. Trying to remember which one I used for the X and which one for the Z or the Y. I don't think it matters. These are all good rails. Yeah, let's go with this one for the bed. So I'm hoping I can just slide this back on. Again, I have all the stuff pre-attached to the rails because I just split them off when I took this apart. And again, every other hole has a T-nut. There we go. Okay, so there's no point centering this yet. Got our little guides to make sure everything's lined up squared. So we have a front idler and a motor we got to mount to this. So, very simple. Our motor goes in the back here. It is 2 printed parts and it attaches to the 2020. And then we have our idler, which is 2 printed parts, a bearing stack, and it attaches to the 2020. As I said, this is a very simple build. So let's do that one first. Let's do the front idler. So these are the 2 printed parts right here. Now you have to be kind of a little bit careful because it does screw into plastic here, so you don't want to overdo it when it comes to tightening it down. And let's see, what is that screw? M530. Ooh. Robert Beaver, $50. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Just wanted to say thank you for the streams. Your earlier ones just got me through my first V0 build. Awesome, man. That's good to hear. Appreciate it. And as always, that's why I do these, because I know they help people. Especially the V0. That could be a little tricky one. So there is a notch here, so you know exactly where to line it up on your extrusion. Do I want to go black? Let's go black. Do I have black screw? No, I'm all out. Okay, silver it is then. We got our bearing stack. That's a bad bearing. Okay. Now this screws into plastic, so you have to be careful here. You don't have to over tighten it. This is just to kind of hold everything in place. Because there's no pull force on this at all. It literally just Keeps it in location. So pretty much just screw it down until it's snug and you're done. That's it. And then it just mounts to the front. I need regular M5. And it's okay if this is kind of on an angle or whatever. Once the belt's on it and pulling it back, it'll be all good. Okay. Now that we have that on, we can go ahead and tighten our rail down, because now we have a reference point, and you're going to want the rail referenced off the front. It's not a huge deal if you have it referenced off the back, but it's better to have it referenced off the front when it comes to tightening your belt, because you use a screwdriver for that. You'll see why later. Camera angle ain't great. Still waiting on the little cheap HDMI capture card to come in so that I can put the proper camera up. Okay. So now we gotta do our motor mount, which again is 2 plastic parts and the motor. And you're gonna put a gear on the motor. 22. So we got this part and this part. That. And how does this go? Oh wait, I got it upside down. Yeah, it goes like this. Right? Yep. So it goes just like that. And what screw is 40 mil? Yep, 40 mil. Or actually, these are 35s. May have misplaced one. Okay, I guess we're using black screws. I need to restock my screws because right now I got like a mishmash of different nickel and black oxide ones. I'm just hoping I have enough of one color. Come on, really? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Motor. And then the motor, I believe I had it. Did I take it apart? I think I took it apart. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had it going forward. So I had it mounted, the wires going forward. That's personal preference, however you want to do your cable management. As long as it doesn't interfere, you can have the wires coming off in any direction. What is the estimated cost of a Switchwire versus a 2.4? The Switchwire is definitely going to be cheaper. In terms of cost, you can build, if you source all the parts yourself, a Switchwire cheaper than you can buy a Prusa Mark III. S plus whatever version they're on right now. And then for your 20-tooth, it's easier to line it up once you have everything on, because you're going to be lining it up with your extrusion. And you can get at it easily to adjust it. So for mounting this guy, same as before, you just put it on and it's one screw holding it. Quarter one. There we go. Yep. So the motors are on. So what you can do now at this point is actually run your belts. Let's see here. So I'm reusing the belts from previously because they're Gates belts, so they're still good, so I'm not going to throw them out. So that's X, Y, Z. And the belts, for those that have ever played with a Creality style printer, the belts run in the 2020 extrusion, basically. So you just feed it through the extrusion channel, basically. Happy holidays, Ian. Let's see if I can slip that in there like that. Yeah, just do that. Okay, so let's adjust the location of this guy. So right now I'm lining up the rear 22 pulley that's on the belt, or on the motor. Actually, I'm gonna have to flip this guy upside down. Get it kind of close, and then you can adjust it once the belts are on. There we go. Good enough for now. I'll play with it later. So, for mounting the belts, you're going to need, there it is. This is the part right here. Pull up the CAD here. So let me hide the gantry. So we don't need the gantry. Okay. Hide the bed. Dang it, I don't need to put a hole there. Hide center. Yeah, I keep screwing up my shortcuts. V. No, I don't want to sketch. Oh my god, what'd I do here? I don't want to sketch. How do I exit sketch? Oh my god. Damn you, Fusion 360. Finish sketch, sure. Okay. So this is the part right here. So your belts run in this channel, and then they come out into this part, and this part right here is what mounts to your bed carriage. Okay, so this transfers the belt motion up to the carriage, and it rides on your other carriage here. So this part's relatively easy to put on. We are going to have to put a heat set insert into it. And actually, I got to trim this guy because it got a little too close to the bed when I printed it. A little bit too much smush. Which happens. No biggie. Good enough. Okay. So, I'll do it on this camera because I don't think I'll be able to get a good view on that camera. But I think I got it on the wrong side. Right. I got the right way around. Yeah. So you have these two little nubbins here. These actually ride in the channel. So this forces the belt up and out so that the belt path is straight. Let's put this heat set in. You feed your belts through. And it's okay to have plenty of slack on the belts right now. Honestly, the more slack you have on your belts right now, the easier your life will be when you do this part of the assembly. So, let's see. I don't know if I can actually get it on this camera better. Basically, back here. The belts come out through here, and then across like that, and then there's a clamp that clamps them. And then that will sit like that, and then the bed sits on top and attaches it all together, essentially. And then your little clamp piece is, let me find it here. This guy right here. Or actually, which one is it? Oh, I printed extra ones. Okay, I printed an extra one for no reason. And then basically try and tighten it as best as you can before clamping the clamp down all the way, obviously. But there is another way of clamping it once you get this. So basically do it the best you can with this method. And then there's another step you do to get that final snugness in. Make sure your belts are lined up. Everything's good before you finally clamp it down. Okay. And then I'm just going to make sure my 20-tooth pulley back here is lined up perfectly. So you can just move it around. Make sure it's not binding or rubbing. Now, I forgot a step here. But you also, if you are running with a micro switch for your Y end stop, you need to attach it onto the carriage right here. Okay. Now, if you're running with was it stall guard or whatever the built-in TMC version is, you don't need to do that. So I don't know where I put my end stop. There it is. So I'm going to put it back on just because I have everything set up for it. And you can, you know, if you forgot and you're at this point right now, you can just flip it down, install it, and move on with your life. So I'm going to do that right now. Ryan B, 699. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for the videos. Thank you for enjoying them. Actually, I've been kind of busy. I don't think I mentioned it, but for those that don't know, any donations to the stream, to the channel, through either super chats or becoming a member of the channel or through my Patreon, links are all below for all that stuff. Everything goes right back into funding projects and helping out the channel itself. Your support over the past year, guys, has been like blowing me away and has allowed me to do a lot more than I ever planned on doing. So, thank you. Okay, so got that back on there. Actually, I forgot. Does that impact? Yep, I'm using the wrong type of screws. I forgot. You need to use like flatheads or they rub. Although they might have fixed the clearance issue on the newest parts. I'm not 100% sure. Where are my self-tappers? Michael, I am trying to find carbon fiber that is good up here. If you could find me a link to good carbon fiber up here, I will buy it. I've looked for it, but nothing that I can find I think will be good. Because I am going to be printing Toasty Boy out of CF nylon. I want to use CF nylon on Toasty Boy. I just don't want to buy crappy CF nylon. And I've asked a few people, and I haven't found, or somebody hasn't pointed me to the good stuff yet. Plus, I was waiting on holiday sales, too. Just order from Filamatrix. Oh, for some reason, it won't let me. Okay, for some reason, you linking that won't show up in YouTube. There we go. Okay, so that's good there. You can vouch for the eSun stuff, but you got to dry the crap out of it. 3DX Tech, Carbon, PA. Okay. So, hey, Maker Viking. Yeah, believe me, I am buying some. I just need to, I don't want to buy crap, essentially. Okay, so now we're ready to put the bed carriage on. Now, for the bed carriage, this is one thing that you actually have to modify. I think I printed it. Yes, no. Yes, I did. So, for the bed carriage, here's the thing with the Switchwire. Everything on this is pretty much stock. The only thing you really have to modify is a bed carriage. Now, this is the Prusa Mark III bed carriage, right? So this is, I can't remember where I got that. I think this one I bought off Bizek. LDO carries them too, a few different vendors. If you're using, you can use any bed carriage basically, as long as you can fit this template on it and drill 4 holes and then 2 offset, okay? As long as you can do that, you can use that bed carriage, okay? So you can reuse an Ender bed carriage, some random whatever Chinese bed carriage you found, okay? We designed it with this in mind, but as long as you have the room to drill these holes, you can reuse that bed carriage. And actually, I think I forgot to, yeah, I forgot. Shoot. I gotta put more heat sets in this guy. Now I gotta flip this over because I forgot to put some heat sets in. Awesome. You need to put heat sets on this guy right here underneath, because the screws come down to mount it. Yeah, for the ooh, what size are these screws? It doesn't say. Okay, whatever size screw those are. So Filomatrix, CF nylon. I'll take a look after the stream. I was gonna try the eSun stuff because I think that stuff's only about $50 a spool up here. But the problem is, like, I didn't want to spend like $80 on a spool that is crap. So I don't want to waste that much money on, because I've been burned on crappy filament in the past. Okay, I'm unplugging the iron for a bit because it's getting really hot. Can I turn this off? No, it doesn't have an off switch. Each sun was deforming at around 120. Filomatrix is 655 a spool, and they give you. Okay. You know what? I'll write that down. Notepad. Okay, I will buy a spool of Filomatrix CF nylon after the stream. Promise. Flip this back up. There, that goes there. So, right there is the Y assembly. got the end stop installed. You don't need to install the end stop if you're using stall guard for your end stop, but I prefer mechanical end stops personally. So there we go. So that is the whole Y assembly done. And now the super special trick. Where did I put it? Do you have one? I might not have one. I don't know where I put it. That might work. The final belt tension. So you tighten the belts as best as you can by hand. And then what you do is you loosen the rear M5 bolt on the motor housing. You get a flathead screwdriver, put it in the gap there. You pry back a little bit. And you tighten down the motor mount again. And now your belt is tensioned. Good. There you go. So the Y axis is done mechanically. So I guess let's do the gantry now. Michael, it's fine. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. That was more than generous, and I know I've been delaying, so I'll make sure I take care of it. Where did I put the... How did I misplace a rail? Where did my other rail go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, let me zoom out here and bring everything back. Gantry. There we go. Okay, so the gantry. The gantry is really simple. It's pretty much you mount your rail. You got your XZ idlers, and then you got your afterburner tool head. The afterburner tool head is the most complicated part. Okay, so we're going to put these bearing stacks together. And again, you have a left-hand and a right-hand side here. And you can tell by the spacers which goes where. And basically, they're just two bearing stacks and pieces sandwiched together. Real simple. Is there a way to probe the bed to see how level it is without actually doing a QGL? If you're talking, there is a bed mesh you can run. You can run a traditional bed mesh to see how flat your bed actually is. Because QGL is just doing four corners for the gantry. Oop, don't lose the carriage. There we go. Ooh, oh shit, George. 1 second, I can't see. There we go. Okay. Oh, what did I miss? George, 100. Damn, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I hope you're learning a lot. Or being entertained, or... Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I don't know, I don't know, people do that, it throws me off. You guys are awesome. Okay. So, mounting your rail on the gantry, simple, just space it centered. So just get a scale and just scale it to the center. Remember, it's like 20 mil off each side or something like that. Yeah. So it's 20 millimeters inset from each side. Just get a scale, double check, make sure it's as centered as you can get it. It doesn't need to be super bang on. If you're off like half a mil, it ain't the end of the world. Or I don't even think that would matter. Put your little guides on it and tighten it down. And what I do is I just go one way, snugging them up, and then I go back actually torquing them. Never torque with the ball end of a ball end Allen key. It's very easy to strip the screws and break the ball off. And you don't know pain until you break the ball off of an Allen key on a 1-inch bolt at the bottom of a 7-inch hole. And you have to get it out. So we're going to leave our guides on, so that it doesn't fall off while we get our XZ idlers ready. Okay, we got 4 pieces here, and the easiest way to see is you'll see this little fancy feature here, detail on the front. That's how you know it's the front piece. The back piece doesn't have this little cutout here, this little notch. So you can use that as a reference to find out which one's your left and which one's your right, essentially. Like that, and then you just match up the pair. And again, these are the kind that these screw into plastic. So don't be overzealous with tightening these bolts. Pretty much just tighten them enough so that you're good, and then that's it. That's all you need. You don't need to go crazy on them. And just line everything up with the edge of the extrusion for now. It's a decent enough reference point. Okay, that's the right size there, so we need 4 of these. David ran $9.99.99. A bunch of people are buying Switchwire parts tonight from me, so I assume it's because of your stream. So thanks. To 100 because I didn't want to do it. Oh, too short. Thank you. For those that don't know, Mr. Yeah, where did I lose my mouse? David is the owner operator, the main guy for Printed Solid. So if you need printed part or 3D printed parts, go see him because he's a very nice dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Absolute $99.98. This one is for the beautiful blue frame and one of the true rep rap building channels, and not to it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Near you, $1. Thank you, man. You don't need to give anything. You provided the frame. You guys are awesome. Holy shit. I can't say naughty words or YouTube will strike the channel, but you guys are awesome. Thank you. So yes, if you need printed parts, Printed Solid, David is awesome. You guys ship to Canada yet? Because I know a while ago I was looking for LDO stuff and you guys didn't ship to Canada. Is that still a thing? Okay, so for the build, by the way, it's 2 bearing stacks. So washers, 2 bearings, washer, easy peasy. And again, you're screwing into plastic here, so be gentle. You basically just need to have it tight enough that there's no slop in it. So I just screw down until the screw head sits flush, and then that's it. That's all you need. You don't need to go crazy with tightening these. You're just holding the bearing stack in position, essentially. And then we put our front one in. Trying to get Canada set up still talking to shipping companies right now. $30 for spool fulfillment, and that's crazy. Yep, David. It's not even better in country. Like when I was doing printed forward, to ship a box with all the Voron V2 printed parts to like BC was roughly about $20-$30 depending on where in BC, and that's within Canada. Like our shipping in Canada is horrible, unfortunately. Like I find it's not so much, it doesn't get so much pricey when it gets heavy. It's more just the initial price is high to start off with. There we go. That's good there. Slop out. Okay, so we're good there. So that's that side done. Hey everyone, Tim's here. Everyone say hi to Tim. What's the build size? This is a stock size Switchwire. So it is, I want to say build volume, it's technically 250 by 250-ish by, I think it is 250Z. I have to check the firmware. But the problem is you're limited on the Y because it uses a Prusa Mark III bed. So the actual printable area on the bed, I think it's only like 235 or 240 millimeter. And then on the Z, you have to limit it to, I think, either 240 or 235, simply because there is a drag chain, if you look. So you can travel the full 250 all the way up. The problem is, depending on your drag chain here and how the loop is coming out of the top, if it touches your belts up here, if it touches your XZ belts, you'll have issues, the defects. So most of us limit it to about 230, 240. But it's more print volume than a Prusa Mark III, I believe. Now you can always just extend, order, 10 millimeter longer extrusions if you're worried about that. Everyone say hi to Tim Peck too. Am I one bearing short or one washer short? Am I missing a washer? No, I'm fine. Aha, there's one. I gotta order more shims. Running low. Kind of disappointed. I used to have a hookup at work with a Fastenal rep, because Fastenal supplies the shop I work at, and I used to be able to just hand him a list and he would make it happen, and I'd be able to get anything for cost. But unfortunately, due to Rona and everything, that kind of isn't the case anymore. Oh, that one's too short. I'm a little disappointed there. Yeah, that one's too short. Oh yeah, that one's too short. Okay, so let me check. Did I lose those? Tell me I'm missing one. Yeah, 30 mil. $25. That's where I put it. Shoot. Oh, this is gonna suck. I mixed up a 25 and a 30 in my motor mount. So I gotta swap these. This ain't the first time, by the way. There we go. Okay, that's fixed. Back in business. There. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. Okay. Take the guides off. Don't need them. Okay. So now you have this little block you have to mount. So. Okay, let me just do this the old-fashioned way. Hide everything. So we have this little block here, okay? This block right here mounts to your carriage, and then the tool head mounts to this block. It doesn't mount directly to the carriage like on the V2s or the V1, for example. So it's this block right here, okay? This guy right here. And you need to put some heat set inserts into it. And then mount this to your carriage. So let me plug this back in. Let that heat up. Let me catch up on chat because I'm trying to follow chat tonight, but you guys, like, this is busy. Let's see here. Yeah, like, people underestimate. I'm pretty much done the frame. Like, we're gonna put this in, and then it's like put on the afterburner. Which, if you need instructions for the afterburner, you can find that on any of the Voron manuals right now, except for the V0. And that's pretty much it wiring. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully that should be fine enough by now. I wish I had a proper overhead cam for this, by the way. Just waiting on the USB dongle to show up. Then I'll fab something up temporarily for now. Switch the camera too. Watch me put heat sets in even better. Okay, so when it comes to actually installing that though, if you look at it, there's a notch at the bottom for the channel for your probe, and then you have these two little notches at the top. So that's your orientation there. So the big notch in the trench, that faces down. So you want to make sure you mount this correctly, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. And it uses, what size screws are these? M38. I had to buy a whole bunch of them. I ran low. M38. There we go. Do I recall the print time? Trying to remember. It's not a crazy amount of time. I started printing the parts on Monday, and I had them all done by Wednesday. That was on a single V2, 250. And that was, you know, work and the holidays and whatnot. Okay, so we got that guy mounted. And now we'll build the afterburner last. But we are going to mount it right now. So you have these 2 blocks here. And they mount to the back of the extrusion. And then the blocks mount to your carriages. And there's one that's slightly different. And it'll have 2 parts or 2 holes for heat set inserts. This is the side that your keyback is on. So they are different. So we got to mount. Yeah. And then the other side here. Pull it up. Oop. So yeah, so one has the holes, 2 holes for mounting your keyback mount, and the other one has holes for mounting your drag chain. So you have to print off whichever one you're using. If you're using like generic chain or the IGUS chain, you have to print off the correct one. So, more heat sets. What filament did I print them in? I printed all my parts in ABS. Yeah, we recommend ABS. You can print it in other stuff if you want to get fancy, but we just across the board recommend ABS for all Voron parts because they withstand the temperatures, because all Vorons are designed to be fully enclosed, so we take that in account. And then they also take the stresses that are put on the parts better than most other plastics. I gotta clean that off. I've seen my share of PETG Vorons fail. Because PETG isn't as great a plastic as some other 3D printer YouTubers will lead you to believe. There's a reason it's only used for plastic bottles outside of 3D printing, pretty much. Not even. They use PET. PETG is only in 3D printing. I'm unplugging this guy because this hot. What do you think of printing them in PETG and then reprinting? I did that on my original V1, and it can be done, but it's kind of a pain to rebuild everything completely after building it. So if you can go ABS right from the start, that's the best way of doing it. But if not, you can do it that way if that's the only option you have. How am I missing so many screws? I kept all the screws for when I took it apart and put them in a pile. And now I'm putting it back together and I'm missing a whole bunch of screws. How does that even happen? The math does not make sense. Luckily, I have a ton of M3 cables, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so this one goes on this side. Any scratches yet on the frame? I probably have some on the bottom, but you don't see those. But so far, I've been babying this thing as much as I can. I really don't want to ding it up. It is such a nice color. Those two are on. Now you need M540's socket head to actually mount. The gantry. This build is actually going together really well. I'm surprised. Like, I'm not surprised. For those that watch my streams know I usually run into a hiccup or two. Because I usually forget something. And yes, I know I just set myself up to forget something. Let's see here. Any suggested mods for a quieter fan setup for Voron? The controller fans are quite loud. You can just buy quieter fans. Like I use, and this guy, all soldered together. Right. I use, what is it? These 60mm Noctua Fractal fans. You can just buy cheaper fans or quieter fans. I buy cheap fans because I don't care. But you can get quieter fans for the controller fans. And then for those that think printing ABS is hard, remember, this pile of scrap parts in a cardboard box prints ABS just fine. If you're having trouble with ABS, eSun ABS Plus is cheating because it's such an easy ABS to print. Okay, so try and get this on camera. But basically, we are going to put our gantry on. Come on, cardboard box, don't fail me now for mounting a camera. Trying to line everything up. So that one's good there. So mount your X gantry to your blocks. And what I do is I just get everything snugged up so that it's in position, but you can still move it. I used the plastic bag mod. That printed my original V2 parts. Or actually, when I upgraded my V1 from PETG to ABS, I literally just threw a garbage bag over it. Okay, so now you just shift it so that it is centered. There we go. And tighten it down. Yep. As you can see, drops like a rock. But we got it on. So now we're going to fix the dropping like a rock part. So we already have our keyback on. Okay, so we have our keyback here. And you just need to put this little guy together up here. And all it is a little printed plastic piece and a bearing stack. Nothing fancy. What size screw is that? And then for spacing, uh, 18 millimeters in. Although I honestly don't think it matters that much, as long as it's kind of in the right spot. Some screws here, and then you would take your keyback. That camera ain't gonna catch it. So basically, it loops up, over, and then you just screw it to your gantry. So you would be normally using this printed piece here. Focus. Anyways, you would normally be using this printed piece here, and you would put the actual like nubbin that's on the end of the rope in there, and then that will mount to your part here. However, I cut mine off because that's what we originally did in beta. So I have to use this printed plastic piece here, which works just fine. It's just a different way of doing it. And I would actually highly recommend that you wear safety glasses at this point. Because you really don't want this to come flying off and take out your eye. Believe me, nobody's been hurt building a Voron yet, severely. And we don't want anyone to be the first. So you mount that to your gantry, and now in magic. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for building it. That is what's different. 117 minutes. Now, obviously, we're not done. I'm not gonna do the afterburner today. What time is it, anyways? Oh my god, it's only 10. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the skirts on, and basically wrap up the Switchwire specific part of the build. And then next week I'll do the afterburner. I might even do the afterburner off stream because it's an afterburner. You've seen it. Or I might do it on stream. We'll see. But I will do wiring next stream. I already have most of the wires already done. I'm reusing the looms. I have them all right here. So it's basically putting everything back in. So let's put the skirts on it. Make it look kind of presentable. So before that though, I'm going to put the feet on. Now it calls out for printed TPU feet, but you can use any sort of rubber feet you want, really. What fans do you use on your 2.4 hot end? I use, I have them right here, because I use the same fans for all of them. I use 3DS Way 4020, I think, and just GD Stein 4010s. I use cheap AliExpress fans. My printers run in their own room in the basement, like this room right here. So I really don't care about noise too much. So I don't splurge on super fancy fans because I really don't care about noise. I work in a tool shop. I'm already deaf anyways. Do on screen, please. Yeah, you know what? I will do the afterburner on screen because it is the dual extrusion variant with the Y splitter, but that will be next week. I'm trying to keep the streams to an actual like a 4 hour or a 3 hour. So another tidbit of information for those that don't know, the Switchwire is bigger than it needs to be. If you're looking at the frame here, you would notice it could end here, and it could pretty much end here. The reason these extrusions, the 3060s, are that long is because that encompasses the entire travel of the bed. So when you want to enclose this printer, and let me bring it up here. Zoom out. When you want to enclose the printer, because the bed will move all the way up to here and all the way back to here. So when you want to enclose the printer, all you need to do, I have everything open right now. Collapse, collapse, collapse. Where is it? You just put panels on it. That's how you enclose a switch wire. You just literally can slap panels on all the extrusion sides with some fancy printed hinges and whatnot. So the switch wire is bigger than it needs to be for a reason. So if you really want to, if you're never going to enclose it and you don't care, you literally can just have your extrusions end right here and right here, okay? And it'll work. It'll work just fine. It's just the frame is that long, so you can easily enclose it because all Voron printers are designed to be fully enclosable from the start. I mean, it's you know, 2020, it's the future. You're gonna be putting our printers in IKEA furniture anymore. Come on. Doesn't even work that good. Or an IKEA next generation. The lacks are so cheap, except Legacy. So the thing with legacy is legacy, right? It's meant to be a throwback to the original V1, which, to be fair, the original V1 was also designed to be within the bounds of the frame. None of the parts stick outside the frame. It's just you need a top hat for it. So it's still within the original design of, on the X and the Y, it's enclosable. It's just you need a hat on top of it. Which, if you look at, you know, the current V1.8, it just has a built-in hat, essentially. Raymond, still shocks me how lacking some printer. Exactly, like Bonsai, right? Like, here's Switchwire, okay? There's all the electronics, right? Everything is still within the bounds of this printer. The only thing that sticks up past it is the umbilical and the Bowden tube. Everything else is within the bounds of the printer. And then you got my Bonsai, which is, you know, it's a nice little design off Thingiverse, but like, just look at it. And it doesn't even have the power supply. The power supply just kind of plugs in and sits over here. But yeah, skirts. Okay, so let's do the rear skirt first. So we are going to have to put more heat set inserts in things. Yay. So we get one up there, there. Get yeah, all the heat set inserts. And up top there. So this guy back in. Oh my, okay, we have 180 people. Holy crap. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link below, and yada, yada, yada. YouTuber stuff. What's the other one? What's the one everyone says now? Oh yeah, the thing shows that 80% of you aren't subscribed to the channel who watch this. Make sure you're currently subscribed, so you're notified, or whatever the other current thing is. Which actually, by the way, it's like 50% for this channel. Like half the people who watch my stuff are subscribed. That's much more than the average channel. So you guys are awesome. Yeah, lax tables. Yeah, that's another problem with the lax tables. Remember, when you're enclosing a printer, you want the enclosure to be as small as possible because it's a smaller air volume to heat. Bell that smash button. Yes, bell the smash button. I need to get emojis and stuff that pop up on screen when people subscribe. Gotta feed that dopamine response. By the way, I am really happy with these colors, by the way. Like, these colors turned out a heck of a lot better than I thought. Because originally I wasn't going to do the blue, right? Remember, we were going to do, I think, charcoal ASA. And then as soon as I started printing the orange and actually had the first batch of orange parts, I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, we're going with blue. The YouTube guilt trip, yes. You gotta feed those metrics. Justify my existence. But it's funny because everyone's like, oh, those are so annoying, they don't work. But they do work. It's like LTT, Linus Tech Tips, did a good video on it. Because a couple years back, they switched to using thumbnails they used to do like what I do for thumbnails, where it's just, you know, picture of object with text, right? Like afterburner tool head, how to build, and then a picture of it. And then they switched to moving to using, you know, bright colors, people going in the pictures and whatnot, and everyone complained. And he pulled out the statistics that show, yeah, it's dumb as all hell, but you know what? It works. And you kind of have to follow the trend on YouTube to be successful on YouTube. That's how it works, right? Gotta play the game. Luckily, this is all a hobby for me, so I'm not relying on, you know, YouTube to pay my bills. So this pays for itself pretty much at the best. I'll put the screen on too, so we can see what the screen looks like. Oh, and I forgot, I gotta put the panels on too. Because you have to put the panels on before you put the bed on, I believe, with this guy. I forgot about the bottom panels. Crud. I might have to take the carriage off. Unplug that. I'm digging the music. You know what? I really like this music. It's Harris Heller. It's on Spotify. It's basically, I found it because I was looking for royalty-free music that you can stream and not get, you know, DMCA'd. Panels. There we go. Okay. Bottom panels. So you have to put the bottom panels on. Actually, I scoofed up. You should be putting these bottom panels on actually relatively early in your build. Because if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So you have to take the carriage off. You can't have the bed carriage on to mount the panel. The 100 packs from Ali, that's what I buy, and I bought 3 of them so far. And I'm tempted to buy a 4th just because I'm paranoid of running out again. Literally just buy a ton of them. Just buy a ton of them. You know what? You'll use them for something one day because they're great. 100 should be enough, I believe, though, for one build. Okay, so carriage off. Oh yeah, that's sexy. Before I had a core class bottom plate. So I need to put there. Okay. Pt1. Oh yeah, these panels are nice. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I gotta put another one in there just for that, so I don't forget. Okay, put that there. Everyone say thank you, Steve. Well, you gotta make sure you thank NerdQ too, because he's the one who provided the frame. If I had just got panels, I wouldn't be rebuilding it. I've seen composite aluminum panels for sale around. Will I get weird resonances? I haven't used them. I think you would be okay if you gasket them. Like use like for the external panels, if you use, you know, like the gasket we recommend, you should be okay. Remember, the reason I have the resonance issues on that guy, V226 there, is because my panels are mounted directly to the frame. Like they are mounted, literally hard mounted to the frame. And it's a 1/8 inch thick aluminum sheet. So it ain't, it's definitely not spec. Okay, so we got the panels on. So pretty sure the power came in on that side. Did it come in on that side? I think it came in on that side. Doesn't really matter. So when you're putting together your skirts, the front and rear skirt, basically put the three pieces together very loose, slide them into position, and then tighten everything down. I found that's the easiest way to do it. Less mucking about. That's that. Yep. And then for those that don't know, these panels are technically structural. They do help a little bit with the motor mount for the Y and your idler, your front idler. They're not really required, but they are structural. And then if you do have a little bit of a gap with them, mine warped ever so slightly. It's not a, it happens. What you do is you get yourself some black aluminum tape, and you just run a strip down it, and that hides the gap. Little couple of pieces here. These are orange on the front. The reason they're blue on the back is simply for the fact that I was running low on orange filament. Tried navigating through Masumi to get the extrusions for my 2.4 build. Order status on hold. They usually put it on hold for a couple days, but it might be because of the holidays, honestly. But yeah. Is there Masumi Canada? No, but Masumi USA does ship to Canada, and honestly, it's pretty dang reasonable because they pretty much charge exchange rate and then $20 for shipping. And then they pay the duties up front. So as far as, you know, buying stuff from the States goes, ordering from Masumi is pretty much about as painless as you can get. Just make sure you pick UPS and not FedEx, for the love of God. Don't ever order anything from the US with FedEx if you're Canadian. They will, just make sure you order a can of Super Lube with it, put it that way. Printer really needs some RGB. I am bad. None of my printers have internal lighting. Like, I legit just take shop lights and leave them on top of my printers. That's how I light up my printers. Never order anything through FedEx if you're in America. There you go. We're not the only ones. Okay, that's the rear skirt. Let's do the front skirt. I gotta flip it over and put T-nuts in for the bottom still. That one warped all hell, so that one's gonna go there. That's good. Okay. And then also, Sparta 3D in Canada does carry LDO now. So if you're looking for one of the LDO kits, they're out of stock of pretty much everything at the moment, but I believe they are getting a reorder soon. So those guys, and for those in Canada, we finally do have somebody that carries LDO in country, but they're new at it, so their stock is kind of low. Can I explain what the Super Lube would be used for? Ask your parents. Stream will get demonetized. Almost there. I swear, this probably goes together quicker than some people can put an ender together. I should have painted those panels orange. You know what, though? I guarantee they wouldn't come out good. I guarantee they wouldn't be good. Unfortunately. Blue would be better. The thing is, though, the bed is going to be, like, the bed's black, right? The belts are black, so there's already black in it. There's no way you can not have the black in it. Is Fastenal business only or something? In Canada, no. Like, you can walk into a Fastenal and order stuff. It's just their main storefront is business related. So if you just walk in there expecting to see their whole stock and inventory, and they're not set up that way. They're set up to supply businesses. But if you go in there saying, I need the following items, and you have item numbers and whatnot, yeah, you can order from them. I don't think you can order online, though. I think you can only do it like if you have a Fastenal store in your area. .3D Gloop claims their product allows printing ABS without enclosure or heated bed. Well, here's the problem with that claim. Sure, it may stick to the bed. However, it will not stop delamination. A good example of that is a couple weeks ago, I printed that Rancor model that a lot of people were printed for that Fangs challenge. And I have it over here. Now, I printed it on Tallboy. Tallboy is tall, and it's only enclosed with coroplast, and it's not enclosed great. So my actual ABS temperatures near like the top of the chamber aren't the greatest. So near the bed, it's fine. But once you start getting up above here, it's only about like 30 or 40 C. It isn't enclosed that great. So where is it? And also I had the fan going, which probably not. So explain to me how a material that will keep your ABS attached to the bed will prevent cracking of the ABS because it's not properly heated. Because this guy is thoroughly cracked through delamination, and that's with a enclosed printer. I also, now granted, I had the fan running higher than I probably should have. If I had no fan, I probably wouldn't have this issue, but yeah, so it may help stuff stick to the bed, but it won't fight that. With ABS and like a lot of plastics, you have to remember a lot of plastics should be printed hot because the longer it takes for it to set, the better, okay? So you want the plastic to basically cool as one homogeneous blob of plastic to get the best strength out of it. So even ABS, like if you can print ABS in a 70C enclosure, it turns out better than in a 40C enclosure, right? The hotter you can print it, the better your results will be. To an extent, obviously. So, being able to keep it on the bed, yeah, that's good, but it's not going to let you print ABS properly unenclosed because it won't solve the issues. It just will keep it on your bed. So yeah, but I use PEI and I don't need it. It just sticks to PEI. Doom. I'm not doing Doom, by the way. At least not yet. I'm doing a traditional V1 in a bit. I gotta get everything lined up for that and talk to some suppliers who are potentially going to be supplying material for the build. Because honestly, Vorons aren't cheap. It would be a lot easier if I centered around building like Enders or other like Creality or cheaper 3D printers as the main go-to to my print channel. Because like centering a channel around, hey, let's build Vorons, when Vorons are not the cheapest printers out there, it adds up quite quickly. Especially when you really don't need that many printers. Brian B 699 Doom. Doom Eternal was a very good game though. I will say that. Okay, let's flip this guy over, hook the bottom of the skirts up. And we shall put the screen on too, I guess. Okay, flipping time. Oop. Okay, so at this point you can tighten up those screws that you don't have tight. For your skirt. And then you can also shift it around if you need to center them a bit better for aesthetics. Okay, now, oh yeah, I gotta put those in. Do I have more? Yeah, I do. Ooh, Tater FPV donated $10. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm picking up a lot of good info here from everyone. Appreciate it. Hey, man, that's why we're all here. We're all here to learn. We could be better at doing this. Everyone benefits when everyone knows more. Oops, too far. Yep. Now, conversely, having it flip like this is great for working on the electronics, so it's all like right here. Okay, screen. Let's put the screen on. So we got we're using a what is it? The Physec Mini 12864 panel is the screen we're going to be using. And it's going to be in the blue case. Need longer screws. Are you guys talking about things you shouldn't be talking about in chat? Yeah, I'm hoping, so the next stream, we'll be doing the wiring, and then stream 3 will be getting it up and running, most likely. I'm hoping the wiring doesn't take too long because it's already, the looms are already done. So it'll just be kind of getting everything hooked back up and making it look all pretty and whatnot. Because you have to have proper wire management, right? I know, Raymond, I'm just razzing you. Okay. That. Now, what size screws did I need for that? I have 2 of that size screw. No. Yes. Yes. I need longer screws than that. There we go. And I'm doing this upside down, so like it's a reveal when I pull it down. Okay. Let's see how it looks. I forgot to print a knob, so I'll put the old one back on for now. So that's where we're at right now. What time is it? It's pretty good. 10:40. Voila. I think that's as far as we're going to go on the build today. Simply for the fact that the next part is the afterburner tool head. That itself is going to take a little bit. So I got to redo a bunch of stuff. Because I got to build a new, doing a new probe on it. So that's going to be a little bit different. But that is that for that. Phone died. Miss anything exciting? We got the mechanical portion of the Switchwire done. Closer so you guys can see. I don't know why I printed an orange one. So X carriage and belts. Yeah, we'll be doing the afterburner tool head next week. And then yes, I got to print it off. Do on screen. Golden Jaguar, I'll do it next week on next Saturday's stream. Because I try to keep the streams to 3 hours, and we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes right now. Do I want to do an afterburner right now? No, I got to take apart all the old ones still, get all the fans out and everything. Because the old one is literally still together for the most part. I'll do it next week. 24-hour stream? No, I am not doing a 24-hour stream. I like sleep. I like sleep. How was the Matter Hackers ABS compared to the eSun? So I didn't go through and do a full tune of it. I figured, hey, it's ABS, it should be fine. I should have. I find it's a little bit more warp happy than eSun ABS, for example, or even the Kodak ABS. And it doesn't do as clean overhangs and bridges. Now, I didn't go through and spend a lot of time tuning it. I pretty much just kind of used the same profile, my generic ABS profile, which handles most stuff fine. But I did have some issues with it. Everything's still printed, fine. But, like, for example, I threw out a lot of them. Like, I went through, like, 4 of these before I finally had one where the R, the little part in the middle of the R, actually stayed in one piece. I had a lot of them where it broke off or it just came out poopy. So that, I had some skirts fail and warp to all hell and back. So yeah, so I did have some issues, unfortunately. It wasn't as great as I would hope, but it's still like there's a great skirt. Just a little warped. Like when it printed fine, it printed fine. It's just I did have some issues with it. I'm sure if I spent more time tuning it instead of just hey, this works for everything, let's go. It'll probably perform better, and I probably will spend the time and actually try and tune it properly. So I do have quite a bit more of it, but for just load and go, it didn't perform as good as I hoped. If you're looking for the manual, just wind back 2 hours and follow along, pretty much. Where are you getting your build info from? I have some parts coming from, but I haven't been able to find a build guide yet. Shooting Star, I'm an admin on the Voron Discord and a member of the dev team in terms of testing and helping along with design. So I was present for the design process of this printer. This is actually a rebuild of Switchwire number 2, which is the second not RCF designed one. So this was like the third Switchwire in existence we're rebuilding right now. So plus we have the CAD here. So if you have the CAD data, you can see where everything goes and sizes and everything. So this makes it a lot easier. Did I put that on the right side? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Is that a Lulzbot set of Allen wrenches? No. Tecton. I don't know. I got them off Amazon. With Legacy out, you guys planning a Voron live? I don't know. I'm not the one who runs the Voron lives. That's Doc. And I know right now with the holidays, everyone's kind of everywhere right now. So I'm not too sure. If you do have any questions about Legacy though, there is a section in the Voron Discord now for it. Voron Legacy questions. So if you have questions, you can ask them there. Yeah, maybe next year. I don't know. I might have some guys pop in the stream at some point. Oh, streams. So this week I have off because, hey, holidays. And due to the fact that I live in a red zone where everything is locked down, I can't go anywhere. So on either Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday, and I'm thinking around 2 in the afternoon EST, Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to try and do a daytime stream. What will I be doing? Stupid printer tricks. We're going to be doing speed runs, trying to do benchy speed runs on V226 back here. So probably Tuesday, I will be doing a daytime stream. I don't know how long it'll be, 2, maybe 3 hours, but we are just going to be fiddling around and trying to do that speed bench challenge thing that the keyboard guy started and then I did, and now it's an actual competition. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be aiming for 10 minutes ish. I don't know if I'll be able to hit that, but I did 14 minutes with what I ran at, and the actual settings that you're supposed to use now are actually more lenient than what I was using. So that shaves off like 2 minutes right there. So we're going to try for a 10-minute benchy. But you have to remember, like, right now the current speed is under 10 minutes, and that's with an IDEX. And this is corexz slinging around a direct feed tool head with a full-size NEMA 17 pancake stepper on it. So we do have a little bit more heat to deal with. But I will be putting the high flow dragon in. So I'm going to be swapping out to a high flow dragon. So at least we'll have high flow. And I'm going to stick a ceiling, or not a ceiling fan. I don't know where I put it. I'm going to put a desk fan in front of the printer. So we are going to put some a little bit extra cooling. So is the LCB open? Yes, the LCBO is open because it's an essential service. Yeah, same with all the pot stores. Those are open too. Yay, Canada. Because, you know, I can't go into Home Depot to get a 2x8. But the government figures it's better to have those that are dependent on their fix get their fix. Because if they don't, bad things happen. Which, you know, whatever. Okay. No blob, just run fan 100%. Kilo Qubit, I did run fan 100% on my 14-minute run, and I need more fan. Overclock the desk fan, put the fan into the afterburner mode. I'm literally just going to have the door open with the fan sitting in front of it, and then I might even hotwire another 4020 and just have it sitting in front. Yeah, so for those that don't know, when I finish the stream, I usually leave it open for like another 20 minutes while I clean up. So I'm going to, right now it's like 10:47. I'm going to let it run till 11. So just open forum with any questions and whatnot. And again, for those that did donate during the stream, you guys are awesome. Your support goes a long way for helping set everything up and whatnot. Because now that I'm actually like investing into this, it's like, oh my God, it's stuff expensive. I just, you know, I bought 2 lights. There goes like $150. I'm like, holy hell. Paint for this room was like $50. Hell. Actually, what I should be doing right now is putting heat set inserts in, so I don't have to do it next stream, but I'll do that later because I already cleaned up. Put it outside in the snow. I would be tempted to if I wasn't a condensation issue. I live in southern Ontario, so our weather is very cold and wet with high humidity in the winter. So I would be worried about condensation on electronics if running it outside. Plus, honestly, there's so much heat being put off by the bed. Unless it was really cold and windy, I don't think you would see that big of an advantage. Here. Yeah, I gotta take apart all this stuff still. And then for the probe, oh, where's the put it? Yeah. So right now, previously it was running a generic, was it a Photech PL05N? I have an Omron B stock that I'm going to be putting in. So this will be the new bed probe. If it focuses. The light up there doesn't focus anymore because I got no light next to the camera. But it's an Omron TLQ5MC2Z. Focus. Yeah, anyways, that's what we're going to be using for the bed probe. Yellow knife is -40. Ooh. I've been in -40, it sucks. Kennedy, I did have input shaper running. I do have input shaper tuned on that guy. Yeah, input shaper is magic. That's gonna be it's gonna be fun putting input shaper on here just to see how fast we can get this guy going for a bed flinger. Is there advantage of the Omron? So the reason to go with the Omron is there's the Omron, there's another one, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a Panasonic one, I think, off DigiKey. They're all basically the same type of probe in the same form factor, so they're pretty much interchangeable for the most part. More reliable, than the PL05 or 08. Now, the reason to go with an 05 over an 08. An 08 has an 8mm sense distance, and 05 is a 5mm sense distance. The thing is, the rate of pulling is the same on both. So what that means is, think of like a waveform. On a PL08 and a PL05, they have the same number of waves, but on an 08, it's stretched out more, okay? So you will get more accuracy on an 05 than an 08. The difference is, though, is on an 05, you only have 5mm of sense distance. Now, on steel, that's fine, but if you're trying to probe an aluminum bed, you need 08, because once you have the aluminum, and then you have your PEI on top of that, and then you have your nozzle sitting below the bed, you actually might not have enough room for the probe to sense with a PL05 probe to sense the aluminum before your nozzle crashes. So my V2.4 smells inside. That could be glue death. That could be the stanky glue. Depending on the bed or the heater, the adhesive glue, when it starts to fail, starts to stink. It could be the glue holding your bed heater on. It could be the glue holding your PEI on, or the magnet on. It depends on what magnet, heater, and whatnot you have. If you have good quality stuff, it shouldn't stink too much. But if you got like some random generic AliExpress silicone bed mat that was like $5, it might not have legit 468MP adhesive on it. Energetic. I've never had my energetic stuff stink. Like, I don't know if it's because I run my beds typically at 100 to 105 instead of like 110, but I've never noticed any bad smells. And all my printers, like the V2, the V0, Bonsai, they all have energetic beds on them. And I've never had a magnet fail or the glue fail on me yet. Are you able to still use baby step? Yeah, you can still baby step with the PL08. Like that the probe has nothing to do with baby step. And yeah, your probe is only used on, now on a Switchwire, the probe is your ZN stop, okay? But on like the V1 and the V2, your probe is only used to level your gantry. Okay, so it doesn't matter what your offset is, as long as it's consistent among all the probe points. It doesn't matter, because then it switches off the micro switch to get your actual Z offset. Any interest in building kinematics besides corexz? Right now I'm pretty invested in corexz, obviously, but Bonsai is like a traditional i3 printer that I have. This is corexz. The thing is, I have 5 printers. I'm looking to build number 6. That will be Toasty Boy. I really don't even need that many printers for my own personal use. Like, I could get by with 1, honestly. My hobby is building the printers for the most part and playing around with them. And now with the YouTube channel, like, I use them for content, obviously. But I would need a valid reason to invest the time and money into it, other than shiny new thing. So, advantages, disadvantage for HBot. HBot is very prone to racking. It's an older, not really older. You don't see HBot around as much because of the issues it has. Has anyone tried the whole G10, like G10 Garolite, like for the bed material? What's Toasty Boy? Toasty Boy is basically just a super insulated V1.8. I'm building a stock V1.8. I'm going to chop down the Z height to 200 instead of 250. XY is going to be 250. The whole outside is going to be insulated with actual insulation, like the Reflectix insulation, high temp belts, high temp motors. Basically trying to get as far as you can with a stock printer that's, you know, not outrageous custom design. So it's going to be a stock printer pushed as far as it can in terms of heat generation. Okay, so the problem with like using Garolite or a bed that doesn't require heat is you still need to heat a lot of materials. It's like ABS, you need the heat to get it to stick to the bed, but you also need the heat to keep it from delaminating. So if you can print, you know, materials on a bed that doesn't require heat, but the material still needs a heated chamber, Okay, then you just got to put a heated chamber in there. So then why you're solving a problem but creating another problem? So like PEI on a heated bed works just fine for a ton of plastics, and you're getting the heat that you need for a lot of those plastics too. What temperature goal? 70°C. I'm trying to get to 70, which it can be done. Actually came out really nice. I am really happy with the colors on this guy. I got that. Now I got the bed here, but I got all the wires on it, so I'm not going to throw it on. But just to put it in perspective, where's my dice? Yeah, so this will be kind of like that. Ah. Oh yeah, that'll be good. That will be very good. Polyiso installation. I'll take a look into that. But right now, Reflectix seems to be the go-to because it's easy, cheap to use. Trying to cut the heated bed because some of those reasons make school safety peeps. Oh yeah, if you're in a school setting, don't get me wrong. If you're in a school setting, the rules are completely different. Like, yeah, at that point it makes perfect sense to have no heated bed. You know, run DC only, no mains voltages. Yes, in a school setting, the rules are completely different. Why is my phone blowing up? Can I explain the term racking for the uninitiated? I have a video on my channel that goes over how to de-rack, but essentially what racking is you have your gantry, right? So your gantry, right? It moves up and down. What racking is right now at the top, these are equal spaced, okay? So think of it as a square, okay? You have a square, and you have a beam that moves up and down through the square. When it gets to the top and the bottom of the square, you want both ends touching evenly, okay? What can happen is it's called racking, where that beam, your gantry, isn't perfectly perpendicular, right? Yeah, perpendicular to your y-axis, and it could be twisted, okay? And if it's twisted, it's called racked, right? The gantry is racked. And what that'll mean is you won't print square objects, right? Everything will be like off, okay? So you can fix racking by basically loosening everything up and like making sure everything's square and then tightening it up, or adjusting belt tension. There's a few different things. But on an H-spot, because of the way it's designed, it's very easy and very common for it to be racked. So what that means is when it's traveling, it's not traveling in perfectly square line or perpendicular lines when it needs to. But yeah, basically not moving square to the frame. That racking video helped me a ton. That's good, Blade. That video actually is one of the ones I've done that has done really well. But yeah, that has helped a lot of people. Why are the limits switches placed on moving parts versus stationary parts? Seem like it would make wiring easier. On here, on the Switchwire, the reason it was put here on the carriage was simply for the fact that you already had all the wires coming off here. Instead of putting it here, I can't remember the exact design choice, but it was like, oh, we already have wires coming off the bed, so you might as well attach it on the bed. You know, a lot of people are just running, with it, collision detection or stall guard or whatever. And then your Y end stop or your X end stop is on the tool head, because then you would have to have a wire here going somewhere by itself. So it's just easier to have it there. And then Z is just the probe. So really the only limit switch that's kind of in a weird spot on the Switchwire is on the bed. And that's just so it's on the bed where all the other wires are. So you're already running, you know, heater wires and whatnot through a drag chain down under here. So this just kind of prevents you from having to pop another hole in your bed. Is it possible to turn stall guard on for 2.4, not for homing, but to reduce the the problem with stall guard on corexz is it gets very finicky because it's 2 motors, and you get a lot of false positives. On the Z, you have 4 motors. So I've never run stall guard, and I think I've only ever had a major crash once, and that was due to operator error. I flipped the printer over and my end stop pin fell out. That was my own fault for not putting it back. So as long as everything's set up right, you shouldn't really have crashes. Yeah. And then having it used for like an actual end stop on a corexz is a problem because of the accuracy and false positive issue. Okay, so my headphones just gave me the low battery warning, so that means we are near the end of the stream. So I'm going to call it there. For all that watched the stream tonight, thank you for spending your time. We've built most of the Switchwire mechanically. I haven't scratched the frame yet, thank God, because it's pretty. I don't want to ruin it. Next week, on next Saturday's stream, we will be doing the tool head and wiring this up. Running the belts as well for the XZ motion. Also next week on probably Tuesday, I will be doing a daytime stream around 2 p.m. Eastern time. It will be doing dumb speed tricks on a V2. We're going to do speed benchies and just see how fast we can print a benchy. So I'll post to my Twitter at Nero3DP or at 3DP Nero. Is my Twitter. Follow me there. You get all the updates and whatnot. I'll take some pictures of this guy and put it up too, so you can actually see some proper pictures. If you would like to support the channel, if you like what you see, make sure you're subscribed so you can follow along. Ring the bell, comment, like, yada yada. If you want to support the channel in other ways, there are options below. I have affiliate links with MatterHacker, Banggood. I think those two. There's an Only Benchies. I keep saying Only Benchies. If you go to onlybenchies.com, you're going to find some great benchies, by the way. I have a Patreon as well, if you want to support me that way, or you can buy me a coffee, or, just watching the channel, liking the content, commenting, being a member of the community. That's all you really need to do, though. So I hope you all had great holidays. They're not done yet. New Year's coming up. Hope you had a great Boxing Day for the Canadians out there. Everything was closed, and I sat at home and ordered a Milwaukee drill on homedepot.com. So invigorating. So be safe out there, wash your hands, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.